Hi, I wanted to do a compare and contrast of two cases for the Rezound. The first one is a silicone case sold by Verizon. I think it's called a high gloss silicone case. It is the same case I had bought from my Jordan Credible, same type of material. I was going to compare this to the Otterbox. This is the Commuter series, which is not as thick, not as rugged as their Defender line, but I think it does a pretty good job. So I wanted to compare the two, just in case someone was trying to consider what to buy. The first thing I'll go over is the Otterbox. We'll start from the back. The Otterbox is cut out really well for the camera. It actually looks like a very high finish. The camera and the LED has a cutout for the speaker grill. I do want to point out that the Otterbox does not have cutouts for the noise canceling microphone. There's two of them right here. It doesn't have that cutout. This does. I'll get to that in a second. So that's on the back. On the bottom, it has that cutout for the standard microphone. You can see that there. On the side, the volume is covered by the rubber piece. I'll take this off to show you how it fits. The volume rocker is covered by that. The power button and the headphone jack are covered by the rubber covering also. Can be closed this way. And over here is the noise cancelling microphone that works when you are in a normal phone call. And here is the micro USB cover, which is also covered. I do want to point out two things I've noticed while I've been using the case is that the rubber is it's a sticky, it's matted finish, it's not high gloss. It does catch pocket lint fairly easily, so when you pull it out, you'll notice very often that there's lots of white dust on there. The only other thing I've noticed is when it's in the pocket and you pull it and it does this stretchy thing kind of on the screen or on the top part, is that it kind of bumps open the headphone jack cover. So that's the case. Let me take it off and show you how it comes together. It is designed in what Otterbox calls a three-part system. So basically this is the third part. It's the hard plastic case that protects it. The second part is this rubbery covering. I believe there's reviews on there. You can on YouTube already about the Otterbox. So I'm not going to go over it in detail, but there's that. And then the screen protector is the first part, which is what I have on here. I'm going to put it into the Verizon silicone case to kind of show you how it goes. It was a tight fit, but I've been using it and it seems to have loosened up a little bit, but it does take some work to get it into the case. Having said that, I want to point out that I had a zag shield on my Jordan Credible, and I actually like the Otterbox screen protector a little bit better because it's a harder plastic. It's not soft plastic, because what would happen is that the silicone case would end up pulling the corners up and it collected dust, and I ended up finally just getting rid of the screen protector. So this doesn't seem to have that problem with the Otterbox screen protector on. Let me just go over the cutouts really quick. There's a cutout here for the microphone, for the headphone, the speakerphone, and the music. There's a cutout for the Beats logo, and the major difference between this and the Otterbox, which the reason I like this more, is it has the cutouts for the noise cancelling microphone when you are in speaker mode. There's a generic cutout for the camera. It does not provide enough of a bump. I mean, it still protects it, if you can see that. It doesn't provide as much of a bump as this did. On the bottom, there's a cutout for the microphone. Over here, the volume rocker is covered by the silicone. I did find this harder to press compared to the Otterbox, which has a significant bump out. If you have carried the phone for a while, you will notice that the volume rocker and the power button can be extremely hard to press just without the case. The Otterbox case actually helps with that because of the way that they're designed, the power button and the volume. This makes it it's still pretty hard, and I actually have to kind of look at what I'm pushing because it's one solid piece here. There's no break in the middle, so you can't tell if you're pushing the high or the low. So you have to kind of look at the phone when you're doing that. On the top side, the power button is uncovered, and the headphone jack is uncovered. On the opposite side, this is the noise canceling microphone and the micro USB charging data port. So when you compare the two, the Otterbox is by far better at covering all the buttons and ports, and in fact it makes it easier to press. Having said that though, the Otterbox does add some bulk. I don't like how it catches the pocket lint and dust. I was working on a car today and I had the Otterbox on and my hands had grease on it and some dirt, and I was not as concerned because when I would power the phone on and off, or if I was changing the volume, I knew that I could, take this and wash it off or clean it. It did a far better job. To me, when your hands are messy, this does a better job at protecting. Whereas if I was using this case, I would be getting grease on this part, and you can get dust and stuff on this. So I think if you work in an environment where you might be getting your hands dirty, if you're cooking, or if you're just working with materials that liquid materials, I think the Otterbox does a better job at protecting the phone buttons and the ports. Whereas if you're in an office environment and you want something that's a little bit more sleek and professional looking, I would recommend the high gloss finish. I think what I'm going to do is rotate them out, and depending on what I'm doing for that day, but I feel like this adds more protection because of the bumper. Both phones do have a ridge, I don't know if you can tell, have a ridge, so when you put the phone down, it does protect the screen. I've been using the silicone version of this on the Jordan Incredible. I've dropped my phone several times from my lap, or about 3 feet, and it's done a fairly good job. So I'm not too worried either way. I think this would do a very good job protecting the phone. But if you're working in a rugged environment, I would go with this. Personally, I'm going to keep both cases and just switch them out depending on what's going on. If you have any questions or comments, please let me know. I would say the biggest downfall of the Otterbox that to me is a little annoying is the thickness that it adds. Not too much, but it does add some thickness. And the lack of cutouts for the noise canceling microphone, and maybe from the Beats logo. It'd be cool to show that. So anyway, if you have any questions, let me know.